I'm the operator with my pocket calculator.
Just show us a tour through those lections, and we will see it like that.
Yeah. I was the unlucky one who was the last in the row to stand, so I have to do this presentation. The idea was born at the RST at Bielefeld. I think it was Peter Holland who had it, and he pushed it forward. And here you see the participants. As you can read, I will not spell the names. And for the next few pictures, I will give the microphone to Peter.
Danke.
Der schwarze rechts.
Der schwarze rechts. Wo ist rechts? Da. Okay.
Yeah. I guess collectors know this situation. This is a picture of the flea market in Bonn, held every 4 weeks. It's 3 or 4 kilometers south of this situation of the museum. We go to flea markets. Maybe earlier days we went more often to flea markets to look for slide rules. And what's the idea when we are true? What's the idea behind our looking on flea markets? We want to make the real big find. Something which is worth going to London and sell it at Sotheby's or somewhere else to get really, really rich. My idea is to find a slide rule by Alexander von Humboldt with his name written on it. I would love to find it, and I would become famous, I would become rich, and you all would admire me. But as we go around flea markets, what we see is this confusion. And there are days when we find nothing which is of interest to us, and to not walk home with nothing bought, we buy a simple slide rule, something we don't need, something we don't like, but we want to take something back home. And if it is not the slide rule from Alexander von Humboldt, it's a slide rule for €1, and we put it in a box at home and don't think about it anymore. Our dreams, our dreams are gone. Reality comes into our life again, and what we have maybe is an ugly duckling, auf Deutsch ein hässliches Entlein. Maybe you know this artificial fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen, a Danish writer. This one, wo ist der Pointer? This one is the ugly duckling because it's ugly. All his brothers and sisters are very beautiful, in a good mood, wonderful, playing, swimming, and this one, it's gray. It looks not so very beautiful. And if you know this fairy tale, you know that this ugly duckling will turn out in the end to be a swan. A swan swimming together with the other real ducks. Sorry, it looks unhappy, but when grown up, wonderful.
What have we done?
I don't know. Escape? No.
Mit der Maus auf Präsentation vermutlich hier unten.
Yeah. In the end, it's a swan, and you can transfer it to our slide rule chasing. We find something which looks like nothing. And later on we find out it's quite nice, it's interesting. And in the proceedings you find about 50 pages of these items. And Jacques is going to present you some of them. And I think we will end in time. Das lege ich mal hier hin.
I will have to hurry up in this case. Okay, thank you. Well, I choose at random a few examples out of this long list and try to have one piece from each participant, but I made an error, but nevertheless, I hope Carl will excuse me because I attributed one item to him, which is in fact from Werner Rudowski, but never mind. This is the first one. I select the biorhythm. You know perhaps that this biorhythm is based on an unproven hypothesis. It features three rhythms, the corporal, the emotional, and the mental rhythm, with 23, 28, and 33 days. And somewhere they correspond in the positive sector and sometimes in the negative. This doctrine was developed in the early 20th century, and it was very popular in the 80s. And even there were developments for programs for your home computer or your pocket computer. Cost and selling price indicator. Here I show you only the back side of the cover to stimulate your appetite to look at it. For me, it's a wonderful tool for the merchant, the Kaufmann. It's easy to understand, and there is no special knowledge requested. And I would qualify it a little tool for a great success. Oh, this is my baby. And who invented it? Of course, the Swiss, like the Ricola herb droplets. Here you got it in real. The funny thing with this is it's a real Windows calculator. Yes, of course. You see the window? Easy to operate, especially for the slide rule collectors. Oh, sorry, I was too fast. But also for the housewife. Sorry if I don't want to hurt the women here around. Perhaps there is also a slide rule collector who is doing his knitting at home. But I would qualify it also as a wonderful gift for your partner, for your knitting partner, if you want a new jumper for Christmas. This is a slide rule for railway modeling. And what is it for? Your model has to run at the correct speed. A merchant train on your model railway goes slower than a TGV, for example. And this is really a big problem for the modelist railroader. And unfortunately, it's not suitable for the fast trains because it ends at 120 kilometers an hour.
That was slide rule time.
Yeah, that was. And, oh, by the way, at the moment, 3 pieces of this item are on sale on eBay, ebay.de. And I would say here, a slide rule gives a solution for everything, even for the railway modelist. I have to find my 8. Oh, yeah, here's the side. Okay, then next one. The all-in-one slide rule. The very last Faber-Castell slide rule realized from 1976. A tool for everyday use and for everybody. Simple handling. Probably it has not been made by Faber-Castell, but by IWA. IWA. Yeah. But I have one point is missing for me, the shaver function. But even with the new iPhone 8, you can't shave. So, sorry?
Americans have a nice saying for that. It's everything but kitchen sink.
This is also a funny gadget. It was presented by a Motorcyclist Illustrated, and I would qualify it as a before TV coverage tool, because nowadays you have several cameras along the racing track, and every camera is giving you the speed that the car is passing by. And here you stayed at some point of the Isle of Man track on the left hand. It's very long, 60 miles, yeah. And you stayed there with your watch, looking how many hours he needed to pass by, and then you calculated the average speed. Or when you read the time lapse in the newspaper, you could calculate what was the average speed he ran around the Isle of Wight. Not very useful, but oh yeah, I'm 3 minutes late. There are some additional information in slide charts. If you go to slide rule museum.org and then to galleries and slide charts, you will really find a very long and very interesting list with pictures. And in the book, you will also find an exposure meter, which is described there. And for exposure meter, if you are interested in photography, go to photobotmore.de and then search for Belichtungstabellen, or by Linealisorg, our French friends, Reglas de Calculo, and so on and so on. If somebody is interested in this addresses, instead of putting it down now, you just ask me. So, I made it short. I wish you a good appetite. Thank you.
Said differently, Shakespeare's plays. That's the plan for next year. When? Well, it's always sometime in September, at a date very similar to this year, namely 21st and 22nd of September 2018. So everybody, please take out your calendars, your agendas, and write it down. What? Oh, yeah. So, and again, we have a theme, and if it's Shakespeare's plays, it has to be something with that. So it's from sonnets to psalms. Okay, you know what to do. Everybody, take out, go to the bookshop, read your Shakespeare again, find good quotes to make nice presentations. Yeah. Everybody has to do so. So you recognize the quotes during the presentation, please. Yeah, it's at the Stratford Hotel. The Brit and the English have also a certain tradition, namely to make a display that is to call out and for people and bring along their specific thing for this theme, for display, and that is early British rules and secondly long scale rules. So again, dates we need, a certain notice to intend the papers so that they know what's going on, deadlines and all that. And the important thing is they really hurried to have those things, everything ready. You can read that all on a website. But first, I have to give a warning or an information. First, there is this place, Stratford-upon-Avon, south of Birmingham. That's the place. But there are several other Stratfords in Britain. Please, Stratford-upon-Avon. What else is on the map? There is a place called Milton Keynes, which is actually not meant, but a place nearby, actually, a place nearby something about here, yes, where we already have been in 2012, namely Bletchley Park. And this is just a reminder, anybody traveling to Britain, that they have there the National Museum Computing, and of course there's also a display by the UK SRC, by the UK slide rule collector. So go along there, have a look even more, and if you've been there, just a refresher, because lots of that is refreshed because many things there belonged to Colin Burns and were sold a year ago. So plan your trip. This is a view of the hotel. And most important is, next to the date you wrote in your notes, that you write down this web address, this URL, UKSRC or UK, you should know that, and IM 2018.